skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun, let us march on till victory is won.
Good afternoon, and I'd like to welcome all of you. And because there are so many of you, I'd like to ask the people in the audience, if there are empty rows, empty seats in the middle of the row you're in, if you could scoot to the middle so that the people who don't yet have seats can sit down, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. So, I'm Ann Waltner. I'm the interim dean of the College of Liberal Arts, and it is my great pleasure to welcome parents and families, supporters and friends to this special day, as well as our distinguished guest on the stage, Regent James Farnsworth. Thank you for being with us today. This is a monumental occasion. It is one that is brimming with possibility, promise, and pride. Throughout your time at CLA, you graduates have embraced the liberal arts education with open minds and open hearts. You have explored the depths of human knowledge, delving into the realms of literature, philosophy, history, and the arts. You have engaged in critical thinking, you have challenged conventional wisdom, and you have sought to understand the complexities of the world around you. Congratulations, class of 2024, and welcome to the rest of your lives. So, graduates, we are here today to celebrate your accomplishments together as a community of families, friends, faculty, and staff on this campus filled with your memories and your achievements. Thank you to the faculty and staff the faculty are in the front row, the staff are all over the place making this amazing thing work. Faculty and staff who helped you, mentored you, steered you in the right direction, and opened up a new world for you. Thank you to all the parents, grandparents, partners, spouses, children, friends, dogs, cats, and baristas who were there to support, sustain, love, and caffeinate you through your years as undergraduates. Thank you all for being here. You should be very proud of your graduate. I know they couldn't have done it without you. Most important things we do in life, we do not do alone. Graduates, please join me in giving them a round of appreciative applause. Today marks the culmination of years of hard work, dedication, and endless curiosity. But it's also the beginning of a new chapter. As I mentioned in the letter, which is bound in your programs, there's a reason we call this commencement. Commencement is a beginning, it's not an ending. And the new chapter is filled with endless opportunities, unforeseen challenges, and boundless potential. As you leave the familiar halls of the University of Minnesota and step into the world beyond, remember this: you are ready. You are ready to navigate the complexities of our ever-changing world because you have honed your critical thinking skills. You have embraced diversity of thought, and you have learned to adapt and innovate in the face of uncertainty. You are ready to lead with empathy and compassion because you have explored the depths of human experience through literature, history, and arts, and all of the social sciences. And you are ready to make a difference because you understand the power of ideas to shape societies and transform lives. But most importantly, you are ready to become the architects of your own futures, to chart your own course, pursue your passions, and create a life of purpose and meaning. So as you embark on this next great adventure, I urge you to embrace the unknown with open arms, to never stop learning and growing, and always remember the values and ideals that have guided you thus far. You are emerging visionaries and innovators, exquisite artists, articulate communicators, soon to be brilliant entrepreneurs, teachers, lawyers, doctors, business leaders, poets, soldiers, logistics experts, and more. You are emerging leaders with formidable skills. A genuine leader brings the range of creative, analytical, and communication skills we cherish in the liberal arts into their communities and their workplaces. You bring that to the table. A compassionate leader leads with a heart, with empathy. You bring that to the table. We hope that we've prepared you, and more importantly, we hope that you've prepared yourselves to make a difference in whatever way you choose to do. Thank you for your resilience. You have needed more resilience than most groups of students in your 4 years and in the last 8 months, and thank you for that. Thank you for what I'm certain you'll deliver to our communities, from the local to the global, in the days and years to come. Congratulations, you did it. Nothing gives me more pleasure than to recognize the outstanding achievements of CLA's talented students. And so it's a special treat to introduce our student speaker, Gion Lee. And I've been told when I'm introducing someone I should not turn and look at them because my sound becomes silent then. So I will not look at her. During her time in CLE, Ms. Lee, a developmental psychology major and integrative neuroscience minor, worked as a clinical research assistant at the Autism and Neurodevelopment Clinic at the Masonic Institute for the Developing Brain, and as a classroom assistant at the university's Child Development Lab School. She also served as the president of the student organization Volunteer in Progress and was a member of the Korean International Student Organization. After graduating today, Gion hopes to fulfill a specific goal: creating a better community for children. She embodies CLA's commitments to excellence and service, and it is a great pleasure to have her as our speaker today. Please join me in welcoming Gion Lee to the podium.
That's a very mixed feelings coming up when I stepped into the podium. Okay. Dear graduates, esteemed faculty, proud parents, and distinguished guests. Today, as we stand on the threshold of a new chapter, I am honored to share a few reflections on the journey we've embarked upon together. A journey not just for academic excellence, but for meaningful existence. I entered college with a set of beliefs that I thought were carved in stone. I believe that starting hard and achieving high grades were the be-all and end-all. That academia at a prestigious institution, and from that, choosing a future success and certainty was all there was to do in this chapter of life. How mistaken I was. The message, as I came to realize, is far more nuanced and beautifully complex. This dawned on me, not in the silent study halls or in bustling lecture rooms, but in the rich interactions and experiences I had with my peers. College life, in its infinite diversity, taught me lessons no textbooks ever could. Each person I met brought a different story, a unique perspective shaped by battles fought and won or even lost in the quiet corners of their lives. And yet, despite these differences, we all grappled with the same fundamental questions. What kind of future do we want to carve out for ourselves? How should we navigate the innumerable path that life offers us? What defines right or wrong in a world that thrives on ambiguity? Engaging in countless conversation, I learned the profound value of pulling together, of weaving our individual threads into a stronger, more resilient fabric. I learned that while our backgrounds may differ drastically, the future is a canvas we paint with collective brushstrokes. Our shared experiences at college have shown us that while there may not always be clear answers, there is immense power in seeking them together. In this journey, I encountered the wisdom of a Korean proverb, 백지장도 맞들면 낫다, which translates to, even lifting a paper is easier together. This simple yet profound phrase encapsulates the essence of our shared human experience, the belief that burdens become lighter when shared, that any challenge becomes surmountable when faced as collective. The greatest lesson I carry with me is not found in the assigned texts or weekly discussion boards, but in the hearts and minds of the friends and colleagues I have had privilege of knowing. It is the lesson of cooperation and of transformative power of dialogue and empathy. Many of the problems that once seemed insurmountable became manageable, even trivial, when I opened myself up to the perspective and support of others. As we stand poised to step into the world beyond these walls, let us not forget the unseen curriculum we've been all part of, the lessons in coexisting and compassion. Let's carry forward the understanding that while our paths may diverge, the questions we face are universal. And in this shared journey of seeking, there is always room for more voices and more hands to lighten the load. As we move forward, let the knowledge we've amassed be our guide, but let the wisdom we've gained in understanding and supporting one another be our compass. The challenges of tomorrow may be daunting, but remember, 백지장도 맞들면 낫다. Together, we can transform challenges into opportunities and burdens into triumphs. To the class of 2024, congratulations on your achievements. As you embark on this next phase, armed not just with knowledge, but with invaluable life lessons, know that you are ready. Ready to face uncertainties, ready to make a difference, and more importantly, ready to carry and share the load, making each burden a little lighter for someone else. Thank you, and may your future be as bright and as boundless as the potential within each of you. Congratulations to the class of 2024.
Thank you very much. At Commencement, we celebrate the achievements and the promise of students who will be tomorrow's leaders, entrepreneurs, creative artists, and public servants. And we invite as keynote speakers people who model the highest ideals of leadership, creativity, and excellence. It's my great honor and pleasure to introduce such a person as today's keynote speaker, Holly Kirking-Loomis. Oh, you're there. She was over there this morning. They tricked things up a little bit. Holly Kirking-Loomis is a senior U.S. diplomat who has served in China, Brazil, the Indo-Pacific, and throughout Latin America. Her roles have included serving as the State Department's Climate Change Director. She was Deputy Ambassador to the Marshall Islands, and she's been Senior Advisor for the U.S. Special Envoy for Afghan Women, Girls, and Human Rights. Throughout it all, Holly has held steadfastly to her values of building institutions, caring for people, and conserving nature. Holly earned her bachelor's degree in international relations here, summa cum laude, and she minored in economics. She also holds a master's degree in global policy from Tufts University. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to our 2024 keynote speaker, Holly Kirking-Loomis.
Thank you, Dean, for that very warm welcome home. It's such a pleasure to be with you today, regents, deans, professors, teachers, mothers on Mother's Day as you watch your children graduate. The biggest pleasure, though, and the greatest privilege is to speak to you, our class of 2024. When I was in 6th grade, a classmate offered me the following advice. She said, "Holly, you would be a lot more popular if you asked fewer questions in class." And here we are, 30 years later, and I'm still grappling with that sentiment. And I've realized, actually, we must ask the toughest questions, especially when it's not popular. Now, my sons like to remind me, as they are in middle school now, that I was from the 1900s, that I went to college in the 1900s. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about college in the 1900s here at the University of Minnesota. As a freshman in Middlebrook Hall, I was like so many of you. I was smart, but not really sure what my path would be, and so I started in the STEM and pre-med. My first work-study job was in an animal research lab, working with rats and monkeys. And pretty quickly, I started questioning, why am I washing rat and monkey cages when what I want to be doing is speaking foreign languages, reading, writing, studying history to think about the way to serve at a transformative scale. When I changed my major, my parents had an unpopular question of their own. "Holly," they said, "what will you do as an undeclared liberal arts major?" So here at Minnesota, I tried on a lot of different futures. You know, our graduation day is very much a day to celebrate your achievements, but I think it's an important moment to also celebrate those who have accompanied you on the way, and in particular the professors and teachers who give so much of themselves to shape our futures. There's a particular teacher that I want to honor from my time here at the University of Minnesota, and I think this is the Spanish department graduations. Do we have Spanish majors or Spanish speakers? I think so. There's an amazing teacher in the Spanish department. Her name is Kathleen Ganley, and she, for 24 years, has been teaching service learning in the Hispanic community. I am one of 3,000 students and counting who she has supported volunteering in the Twin Cities Hispanic community. What an incredible example she is of servant leadership, serving the community in this transformative scale, and the lessons that we learn in those classrooms we carry with us, as I did as a junior diplomat in Honduras. Also at the U, I made my share of questionable decisions. And being from the 1900s, a major advantage was that social media was in its infancy. We all were on AOL Instant Messenger. So after I graduated CLA, I joined the diplomatic corps, and I've had the opportunity to live in China and Brazil and amazing places in between. But the further that I go, the more I come to appreciate community, home, and family. And so, families, I want to thank all of you for standing beside us, liberal arts graduates, as we pursue a degree that prepares us for a life of purpose, that empowers us to be agents of change, and to be a positive influence in this world in a time of unprecedented change. We are living through history's most consequential time for humans. During your undergraduate years, artificial intelligence has entered our daily lives. The discourse on how AI should be put to use for human beings should be led by liberal arts people. And this puts you at the front lines to ask unpopular questions and to be open-minded, open-hearted, and open-eyed in steering our species forward. Your generation will also grapple with a climate crisis that you did not create. It's unfair, and you have to do it anyway. So ask tough questions of people in power, and when you become those people in power, implement serious solutions. Persuade others to act, and prepare and comfort your neighbors when they are unsure in uncertain times. I will never forget arriving in the Marshall Islands. The Marshall Islands are probably the most or among the most climate vulnerable countries in the world. Imagine a volcano that coral reef forms around the rim, and eventually land emerges out of the surface of the ocean. So you leave Hawaii, you fly 6 hours into the middle of the Pacific to land on a strip of land with the ocean on both sides. I looked around and I asked myself, how are people here not terrified all the time? Parents hustle to make a living, teenagers sail canoes, and sea levels are rising and storms are intensifying. But I really learned two things in the Marshall Islands. The first is that we humans, we have got to compartmentalize to get through our day-to-day and to solve the problems that seem intractable. And secondly, we're actually all as vulnerable as the Marshallese, just on a different trajectory. Small states like the Marshall Islands leverage a tremendous moral authority in climate negotiations, which far outweighs their economic or political might. And we might all do well to learn from their example. So if the question of AI and climate change weren't enough, we also are living through the transformation of our political, our economic, and our social systems as well. Every one of us feels that viscerally, that uncertainty in the pit of your stomach that is not just graduating in an uncertain time. The tectonic plates of humanity are shifting. It's changing countries from within, and it's changing the relationships among countries. I was in the Carlson building on the morning of September 11th, 2001. The aftermath of September 11th would shape the world for the subsequent 20 years, and it would shape the generation of diplomats of which I'm a part. It was shocking then, 2.5 years ago, to watch the Taliban retake Kabul in Afghanistan. We all recall those images of Afghan people trying to escape the country that they had spent a generation to build as a liberal and free society, especially for women. You know, in a crisis, people watch, maybe they have opinions, but you have a choice to act as well. And so when my Wisconsin hometown was chosen as a safe haven for evacuating Afghans, I left my family in Sao Paulo to build a refugee camp in rural Wisconsin. In all, in rural Wisconsin, we received 92 flights carrying 13,000 Afghan men, women, and children. Some of my most meaningful work as a diplomat happened 5 miles from my parents' hometown. Most of my Afghan friends arrived off that plane with just a backpack. So I want everyone to imagine if you were fleeing your home in an hour, in a day from now, what do you pack in that backpack? So life in our camp was routine after a while. Babies were born. We grappled with COVID and measles. We listened to Afghan women advise us how to provide culturally appropriate and accessible food and medicine and clothing. Kids played soccer, women sewed clothing, and all of these people had 2 questions in their mind. The first, what had become of the families and the lives they left behind? And secondly, what would the future hold for them and their children? I was really proud of my hometown. The generosity and the warmth of my hometown towards people they would never meet far exceeded the expectations of a small community of modest means. But what affected me the most were the Afghan people. In the very worst and uncertain days of their lives, they chose to serve others. They translated a stranger's medical appointment. They taught a neighbor's child to speak basic English. They helped us run the camp to the benefit of its residents. We can learn so much from these courageous people whose action and choice of hope in a time of uncertainty stands out in my mind and heart. You know, many of the Afghans who made it to safety continue to be the most vocal and persuasive advocates for the women and girls left behind. So you all, we've answered the question, and what of a liberal arts degree? Our liberal arts degree prepares us to lean into curiosity, to brace uncertainty, and to make the most of our paths wherever they lead. And you, the graduating class of 2024, you have already shown us you have the chops to lead us forward. You made it through a global pandemic, through canceled commencements, through lockdown and online classes. Some of you helped lead this city following the awful murder of George Floyd. Your actions reverberated around the world. We were in Brazil and saw similar responses after the killing of a black man buying groceries. Brazilians took to the streets and they shared your vision, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s vision, that the moral arc of this universe is long, but it bends towards justice. So what can we do looking into the unknown? 3 things. First, have a curious mind, ask questions and truly listen to the answers. We need innovators who can see the way through complex problems, and you have been taught to think in this way. Second, have open eyes. Pay attention to the beauty and the humanity all around you every day. Retain the wonder of my 1-year-old as he sees and hugs a tree for the first time. Question long-held assumptions. Question the status quo. And if the emperor has no clothes, say so, even if it's unpopular, especially when it's unpopular. And most importantly, graduates, have an open heart. People around you are anxious, they are scared, they don't know what to do, they don't know who to blame in this time of change. Have compassion as long as you can maintain it. With an open heart, we can go forward and build communities, overcome divisions, and prioritize human relationships. This way, we find the humanity even in the people who offend us the most. I come from a Protestant tradition, and spirituality is the center of my family life, and so I want to end with a benediction appropriate for people of all faiths and backgrounds. Because, my friends, life is so short. We have so little time to brighten the paths of those who walk along with us. Please, be swift to love, make haste to be kind. Please always learn from the past, strive to understand human stories and constructs, and appreciate what makes us human and connected to one another. Let's go forward, open-minded, open-eyed, and open-hearted, as you, the class of 2024, embody and build the world yet to come. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Holly. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce a special video celebrating the class of 2024, a group of graduates who have embodied perseverance at every stage of their undergraduate journey. So if everything is working right, it will appear on the numerous screens around.
The early to middle years of college were filled with unexpected hurdles, but these students faced them head on. From virtual events to in-person gatherings, the class of 2024 made memories that will last a lifetime. Heartfelt thank you to the mentors who guided these students through their academic journey. Dressed in regalia, ready to step into a new chapter of their lives.
thank you to the Liberal Arts, Technologies, and Innovation Services and the undergraduate education staff for helping to deliver this special congratulatory message to our class of 2024. And before we move on to what we're all really here for, I'd like to also thank the University of Minnesota Brass Ensemble under the direction of John Leonard and the other lovely musicians who are providing the music for us today. So let's give all the musicians a big hand. And now the moment you've been waiting for, the presentation of degrees. I will be sitting in that stool because this morning I stood and shook 1,100 hands. And there are 1,200 of you here today, so I'm going to be sitting in the stool. I am determined to shake every one of your hands and at least say a word of congratulations to you. So members of the class of 2024, you will cross the stage one by one as your name is announced. After you have returned to your seats, please remain seated until the end of the program. If there are any difficulties with your name, and there were just a few glitches this morning, Amelius can help. Amelius White, Dr. Amelius White, who's at the other podium, can help get things straightened out. When we are finished, you return to your seats. The commencement is not complete until Regent Farnsworth confers your degree. Now, let's go on to the business at hand.
Chandra Lee Dickinson. Ji Yan Lee. Emily Louise Pratt, high distinction. Maya Callas.
Kate Lee Larkin.
Louis Gerald Easterreich. Kira Grace O'Loughlin. Caroline Grace Snyder. Yun Xuan Lee. Jessica Colleen Sweeten, high distinction. Kylie P. Vanderpool. Natalie Nessa. Nilet Banzir Dajok. Haben Okbai Naiski. Jack L. Harris. Jerome Thomas Wirtz. Luna Goki Vu. Henry Quant. Matthew T. Frazier, high distinction. Jenna Michelle Milburn. Ethan Eric Smussel, distinction. Hannah Eileen Gwaltney, distinction. Kaya Shepard, distinction. Gina Francine Yi, summa cum laude, high distinction. Taylor Suwabyi Her.
Congrats. Yeah, there's no Sarah. She can't.
Hella Jungles, distinction. Hugh Haskin McCafferty. Melanie Frias Daza. Kayanne Jean Lynch. Jonathan Lucero. Iris Pax Parrish Chouinard. Harry Patrick Meshbesher, summa cum laude, high distinction. Faduma Hassan Ahmed. Sophia Grace Speckard, distinction. Fadumo Abdullahi Barkadle. Aisha A. Abdul Kadir. Miski Mohammed, high distinction. Alexis Ann Olson. Claire Gabriel Curtis. Ida Mortada. Elizabeth Ann Goldenberg. Alan Yuan Hong Chu, high distinction. Maya Dahlberg.
Nice scarf. Did somebody...
Kyle Bentane. Drake Westman, high distinction. Braden Fredrickson, high distinction. Matthew Thomas Nyquist, distinction. Riley Mackey, high distinction. Gabrielle Bell. Yalen Llanas Muñez. Sophia Elizabeth Alborn. Grace Divine Lotier Butuli. Michaela Haig, summa cum laude, high distinction. Carolyn Sackett, high distinction. Theo Franz. Joshua Paul Erickson. Lillianne Lane Devereaux, summa cum laude, high distinction. Carly Nicole Reppy, distinction. Jun Cheol Shin. Max Mueller. Brenda Jean Collier. Jennifer Marilou Delgado. Elizabeth Corinne Schaff, distinction. Josie Haug. Clara Joan Netzel. Zaylee Olivia Capalupo. Peyton Saplatal, high distinction. Zoe Jane Freedom Walker. Patricia Xiomara Vega Salmeron. Anna Schmid, distinction. Sarah Laura Bell Berry, high distinction. Emma Kuvas, distinction. Dominic Trajano. Hannah Irene Wellington, distinction. Hannah Marie Schumacher. Olayaton Phoebe Olanrewaju. Layla Ryan Dion, distinction. Jade Marie Eifler Jaramillo. Morgan Page McFadden. Kiana Dulcie Rayleigh, distinction. Chloe Lynn Thompson, summa cum laude, distinction. Clarista Jolie Berg, distinction. Lauren Bambanek, high distinction. Emily Katrina Chan. Nicholas G. Blando, cum laude, high distinction. Karina Elizabeth Ressler, summa cum laude, high distinction. Ellie Gove. Zoe Hansen. Rachel Eukstead, high distinction. Jade Tamara White. Luke Alexander Tarosi. Wyatt Stanley Gibb, high distinction. Jason Douglas Schulman, summa cum laude, high distinction. Gabriel Eduardo Rojas. Dylan Perot. Julian Lozano Jerez. Catherine Grace Willis Callan, high distinction. Lexi Seraphin, distinction. Ruby Louise Reardon. Arlisa Saibun Lee. Aria Chentavillai. Chris Allen Hansen. Shinzu Wan. Selena Marie Moreno. Andrea Carmelita Beltran Moore, summa cum laude, high distinction. Sunena Jory. Julia C. Porras. Katie Sullivan. Chloe Ann Baer, high distinction. Caitlin G. Reimer. Jess Jensen. Macy Rayan Belfi, magna cum laude, distinction. Sebastian Daniel Schrader. Cooper James Olson. Noah Daniel Vandaloo, summa cum laude, distinction. Sarah Gabrielle Ruiz Gonzalez, distinction. Hannah Ray Van Summeren. Penelope Hunter Specker. Mary Nichols, distinction. Dana Marie Lucker Milan. Hannah Ruth Klink. Olivia Marie Rowland. Charles Martin Van Stee. Jake McAnally. Michael Pham, distinction. Maxwell John Pribble, high distinction. Seth Richard Primo. Amaya Rucker. Brooklyn Grace Oliver, distinction. Araya Breedlove. Jolise Tracy Pecor, high distinction. Taryn Leah Long. Jaden Sky King. Ben Rosidlo. Sean David George. Kennedy Sandra Jackman. Caitlin Ray Schroeder, high distinction. Ashley Daniela Onofre. Grace Rebecca Edderburn. Hannah Marie Murray. Hope Julie Malika, distinction. Madison Marie Schaffler. Martha May Humke. Christina Rose Sofio, high distinction. Amelia Rose Lay. Alex Sankin. Siramorn Sirawatanakal. Na Tran, high distinction. Rebecca Elaine Miller, high distinction. Jason J. Henke. Yao Honon Summers, distinction. Ziyang Zhang. Saris Lan Lu. Natalie Marie Franklin, distinction. Monica Plessums. Zoe Irene Swanson. Kieran Pilar Wiley, distinction. Logan Matthew Roach. Sydney Anna Bradshaw Smith. Hannah Elizabeth Rest. Zahili Alejandra Sanchez Luna. Benicio Joseph Trusiak, distinction. Dylan Robert Anderson. Alyssa Aune Daniels Carlson. Justine Vance, distinction. Gilly McIntyre, summa cum laude, high distinction. Sadie Lee Stallo. Sadie Lee Stallo, high distinction. Erica Marie Gerard. Jana Shea Hurd. Ella Marie Pearson, distinction. Caitlin Ruby Shanahan. Court William Buck. Amelia Marion Wagner, distinction. Jeremy Xiong. Rodina Ihab Elashri. Caitlin Marie Bradley. Jillian Rose Nelson, high distinction. Morgan Ray McLeod. Tabby Janie Yin. Richie Fue Chi Vang. Carla Johanna Cortez Miguel. Corinne Celeste Nord. Lum Nabang Chi, summa cum laude, high distinction. Jasmine Snow, high distinction. Lauren Ashley Riskadal, distinction. Morgan Josephine Nelson. Jack Ryan Kelly, high distinction. Kylie Marie Bassett, high distinction. Grace Star Kalina. Brian Zhang. Hannah Carrao. Nureen Mohammed Kaseb. Hannah Marie Robinson. Eilish Minette Atwood. Cole Lorenz Carbert. Caroline May Tanner. Joseph Conway McKnight. Zoe Corin Jensen. Kendall Nicole Jones. Sarah Ann Marty. Lula Khadija Hussein. Bryn Nicole Westby, magna cum laude, high distinction. Saya Reese Mackey Waller, distinction. Emily Storm. Megan Elizabeth Wallin, high distinction. Jenna Lee Jarmalik. Elizabeth Grace Campion. Kat Hivari. Eja Luna Sidam. Alana Kennedy. Kelly Wu. Sophie Caroline Valancourt. Emily Elizabeth Anderson. Grace Marie Perry. Allie Leonard. Elizabeth Therese Schoenfelder, distinction. Anna Elizabeth Koski. Regan E. Granger. Kimmy Galati. Delaney Elton, high distinction. Lily Loshko. Kiara Marie McCullough. Julianne D. Vang. Stella Louise Bloomer. Haley Jane Bromanchenko. Caroline Honor Adair Cashman. Junie Holtgrew, summa cum laude, high distinction. Sophia Lee Hawk, summa cum laude, high distinction. Clara Lena Kilgus, high distinction. Allison L. Hansen, distinction. Felicia Chlasnoti Moore, high distinction. Elena Julianne Pausch, high distinction. Natasha Marie Hampton Anderson. Elsa Ingrid Johnson. Madison Turner. Anna Lindeberg, high distinction. Shelby Marie Christofferson, high distinction. Megan Mills. Haley Jean Zahner, magna cum laude. Caleb Henson. Manasvi Kalipali. Dia Kalra, distinction. Tayshawn Fahey. Ben Morrison. Andrew Jeremy Becker, distinction. Taylor Louise Boris. Robert J. Wichterman. Jenna Ann Schneider, high distinction. Hope E. Wursler, high distinction. Simone Hadara Asen Klaskin, distinction. Izzy Lundquist, high distinction. Eve Pamela Clarkson. Marin Claire Anderson. Haley Estelle Hervig Saniti, distinction. Kira Maeve Sharkey, high distinction. Amber Isabel Deloya. Ariana Nicole Smirlinski, distinction. Erin Schnell, high distinction. Lons Ulmer. Rachel Mueller-Lilly. Olivia Rose Lay. Lucas David Kiso. Maria Elizabeth Bankston. Madison Ashley Gallrap. Molly McCaffrey. Mai Kao Zhang. An H. Din. Abigail Ray Santer. Alexa Grace Lacombe, distinction. Delaney Ann Varner, distinction. Sydney Noel New.
Weston Peterson.
Jasmine Marie Steckman.
Muhammad R. Abdi.
Allison Nicole Nyers, distinction. Olivia Daniela Costa, distinction. Noelle Rose Lynch, distinction. Timnit Mbaye. Piper Lee Sondriel. Brooklyn May Dean, high distinction. Ya Tong Shu. Purvi Singh Gai, distinction. Jordan A. Peterson, high distinction. Samantha Krochak. Brooklyn Adeline Staling, distinction. Hannah Rose Hofstrom. Jade Lynn Schultz, high distinction. Emily Marie Karnowski, high distinction. Grace Elaine McGinnis. Margaret Ryan Casey. Bao Yang, distinction. Allison Grace Scarda, high distinction. Molly Carol Thomas, distinction. Nia Lang Karras, distinction. Chloe Cruz. Laura McCartney Kramer, high distinction. Jason Micah Rutman, summa cum laude, high distinction. Elizabeth Ann Strock, summa cum laude, high distinction. Isaiah Ray Salazar. Kiera Marie Reischauer Payton. Indy Jongman. Kaiser Eric Neverman. Summer Schmidt, high distinction. Katya D. Sudakova. Lily Sipe. Dee May Kerwin Dooley. Alexandria May. Morgan Rodriguez Gutierrez. Ji Hei Han. Jun Ho Choi. Robert Kim. Miranda Emstead. Nebayu W. Elias. Mason Orion Padilla.
Ramsey Torby.
Catherine May Woodward. Ray Fan. Jasmine Cuevas. Paige Elizabeth Barry. Safa Ali. Antonio Tolentino Octaviano. Anna Schnuckel, Jultzine Elizabeth Flores Miranda, Savannah Kennedy, distinction. Megan Marie Van Burkum, Kayla Apelt, Rachel Ann Connolly, Diana Marguerite Horner, distinction. Morgan May Mensch, Enya Kumar, Grace K. Voorhees, Jennifer Lynn Schimmel, Erin Marie Rogers, distinction. McKenna Christensen, high distinction. Grace Holton, distinction. Hannah Muriel Jensen, high distinction. Claire Louise Larson, Emma Wren Eklaw Frere, Sarah Elizabeth Polkrabeck, Lucas Johann Karen, Antonia Madeline Arney, Victoria Anita Martinko, high distinction. Carrick Hansen, Megan Elizabeth Reed, Bailey Ann Hill, Briley Ray Bownett, Kevin Boeing, Caitlin Hope Wall, Isabel Matilda Olson, Jenna Rickoff, Christian James Lurch, Chandler Vaughn Reek, Delaney Devon Nicole Jensen, distinction. Victoria Joyce, high distinction. Chelsea Ann Marie Rishi, Lily Catherine Steen, Abby Sage Jones, Mackenzie Margaret Trolson, Emma Lynn Solis, magna cum laude, Annalisa Elizabeth Diekvos, distinction. Lacey Thompson, Taylor Ann Gish, Emily Gatzmeyer, Owen Theodore Stevenson, Alexis Gabrielle Doust, distinction. Ellie Jane Monroe. Peyton Elizabeth Dobin. Roman James Garwood. Julia Melanie Bevins. Randa Ung. Emma Catherine Siefker, high distinction. Austri Hope Schmidt. Kyra Grindberg, high distinction. Isabella Grace Hudson. Ivy Ray Bowley, high distinction. Cassandra Rose Mentjes. Emma Susan Blank. Nicole Amber Stout. Adele Marie Woog. Ellie Weinmeier, distinction. Katie Grace Wachowski, distinction. Emma Faye Jones, distinction. Cameron Ann Kern. Hannah Kodsmut, summa cum laude, high distinction. Hanna Tarasivna Babina, magna cum laude, distinction. Hallie Marie Ellefson. Caden James Christ. Emma Noel Heeman. Maggie Jane Elizabeth Brown. Timu Precious Saw. Nicholas Robert Hadachek, summa cum laude, high distinction. Devin Ray McCarthy, high distinction. Bhavya Rajalakshmi Shivaram. Quincy Venas Farragon, summa cum laude, high distinction. Amanda J. Pelkey. Elena Dawn Johnson. Claire Jean Zoyges. Sydney Ryerson. Paige Nicole Hennon. Sydney Candace Stabell. Karishma Wahi. Emma Catherine Dodge. Taylor Grove. Leo A. Puntillo. Dariush Julian Cave, distinction. Sophie Grace Schwartz. Ellie Anna Supis. Sydney Jordan Hardeck. Callista Ann Caparelli, high distinction. Hallie Jo Kirschner, high distinction. Zeta Jean Thalacker, distinction. Kaya Dale, distinction. Allison Shane, high distinction. Haley J. Felt. James Matthew Druicke. Anne-Marie Roth. Adriana Christine Berg, high distinction. Ethan J. Fine. Caitlin Diane Longerbone. Jayden Carter Metcalf. Karina Lavoie Melby. Olivia Lauren Meyer, distinction. Jake Ringwall, distinction. Amira Arshad, high distinction. Miski O. Farah. Roseanne Abu-Hejla. Jenna Marie Olson. Anna Josephine Kubiak. Mayella Rose Brinker. Annika Marie Daly. Brianna Sadavi Ross. Benito D'Angelo. Nia Alexander. Brianna Rose Bryce, distinction. Anna Von Bus, distinction. Julia Carmela Grote, high distinction. Gabriella Blue Rosso. Holly Artemis Brand, cum laude, high distinction. McKenna Hansen. Alec Henri Saint-Chagrin. Haley Jean Berggren, distinction. Gabriella Alexandra Diaz. Josue Vorvik Jerdigan. Edhem Mohammed Mohammed. Ashley Marie Tubert. Eli Zymet. Wachi Lor. Vanina G. Lifong. Tiana Nicole Turner. Lin Nguyen Lee, distinction. Ulmuker Mohammed. Ilhan Omar. Nur Khairunisa Masturina Zulkifli, distinction. Maisara Binti Ibrahim, distinction. Stacy Casa. Alexia Elizabeth Lythos. Lillian Elizabeth Gilbreth. Hunter Jacob Bertram. Eleanor Barry Husbeck. Evelyn Maya Elizondo. Carly Ann Berglund. Lauren Clara Berndt. Isabel Mercedes Scriver. Ellie Annabelle Falkman. Hannah Lindgren. Justin Monivan Keogh. Jasmine Gonzalez, high distinction. Natalie E. Jacobson. Ryan Hagan, distinction. Beatrice Rose Asher Handlin, magna cum laude, high distinction. Enoch New Win, distinction. Kira Hess. Jacob Matthew Hansen. Ellis Eve Miscavige. Cregan Kroon. Kirsten K. Swenson. Fartun Mohammed Hassan. Ridwan Mohammed Gady. Hannah Mustafa Huda. Latifa Daham Ruwaili. Fartun Ahmed Hayir.
Marissa Suzette Nior.
Calvin Roman Barrett. David Raymond Jacobson, distinction. Grace Ann Etherington, distinction. Rachel Hankey, summa cum laude, high distinction. Natalie Lorin Lord, distinction. Josephine Elisa Gust, distinction. James Julian Kalubayan. Natalie Page DeBaker, high distinction. Madeline Weber Upson, distinction. Michaela Tentis. Madison Krishak. Scout Albrecht, distinction. Bonnie Young, summa cum laude, high distinction. Gabrielle Ehrenstein, distinction. Isabel Kamba, distinction. Sureya Abukar Abdul Qadir. Rachel Lynn Rosenthal. Cassandra L. Martin. Jacob Andrew Broad. Isanea Davida Thompson. Aisha Mohammed Abdullahi. Aaliyah Joy Miller. Sophia May Getz. Jack Cheng. Ben Lofer, high distinction. Yulong Yang, distinction. Caleb Kabista. Manasi Najargoge, summa cum laude, high distinction. Kaylin Lee Nordis Pecha, distinction. Ryan Joseph Cardenas. Claiborne Michael Held and Loki. Dahlia Lee, distinction. Jamie Chen. Ava Charlene Doe, distinction. Sean Pramel. Sissy Lee. Jennifer Wynn. Bryn Cecilia Tapp, summa cum laude, distinction. Stephanie Elise Haitala, magna cum laude, high distinction. Simon P. Quella. Noel Raymond Frazier. Tate Milano Papas. Tanya Michelle Martinez. Maya Lynn Reeves. Olivia J. De La Rosa. Argentina Maria Lerma. Haley Suen Lowe. Connie Wong. Jackson Chu, high distinction. Rachel Liu. Li Shen Hong, distinction. Yu Jie Tang. Tianxin Zhang, distinction. Nejma Aden. Bernarda Torres. Lena Ali. Yinan Wang. Idil Jama. Najmo Mohammed. Silene Bonareri Ogega. Hibak Ali Hashi. Kira L. Ziegler. Safa Yasmin Asif. Nuha Farouk. Marissa Nelson, distinction. Ali Renee Thompson. Ruo Hang Ma, distinction. Avery Brianna Lisiak. Sumaya Balreddin Al-Nizami. Jordan Schindler, distinction. Taylor Zog. Salmo Abshir Olad. Vilas David Stolpman, distinction. April Saisathi, distinction. Addison Wong, distinction. Colin Joshua Olson. Hung Kwok Win. Jacob Hunter Reineking, high distinction. Amber Remen. Ruby Maureen Guyan, high distinction. Mackenzie Elizabeth Shaw. Aaliyah Joy Bickbick, distinction. Maya Tulesu Bowman, summa cum laude, high distinction. Alexandra Nicole Licht, distinction. Annika Simpson. Rye Miller, high distinction. Solomon Michael Como, high distinction. Matthew Wagoner, high distinction. Allie Jo Munson. Crystal Elizabeth Kunish. Nancy Kim Nguyen. Benjamin Robert Charles. Joshua T. Young. Noah Sanborn. Peyton Ryder Chapman. Noah Adam Emmanuel Benavides. Aiden G. Wilhelm. Abby Grace Gunderson, distinction. Jade Morissette, distinction. Madison Dolores Finke.
Brianna Elbin. Just go back to that woman and then...
Andrew James Kind, summa cum laude, high distinction. Juan N. Duque Gomez, distinction. Marissa Lynn Puzer, high distinction. Emma Jane Bratz, distinction. Monique Marie Foster. Keelan Maureen Schoenfelder, distinction. Jenna K. Rush, high distinction. Adeline Klein. Jasmine Marie Townsend. V. Kwok Dong. Ilhan Rage.
Samira Abdi. Samira Abdi, distinction.
Gracie Meyer. Peyton A. Timmerman. Jeanette Joyce Estrom. Alexandra Janey, high distinction. Anson Wu, distinction. Shukri Saeed Omar.
Zachary Tran.
Nathaniel Joseph Ruvard, distinction. Megan Ann Weber, distinction. Isabel Lynn Oliveira, distinction. Rachel Rose Olivares.
Oh, well, I think sometimes he can't hear too. That's
Hannah Marie Jacobson.
say before. Sometimes he couldn't see it because of it was black. So.
Sarah Musa Williams. Bryn Clarice Nelson. Dua Yang. Chaltu Ayano Uli. Sophia Kim Poppy, high distinction. Riley Sage Workhoven, high distinction. Emily Catherine McMonigal. Grace Jean Leopold, distinction. Olivia Lee Kramer, high distinction. Lillian Jean Sheen McNaughton, distinction. Joshua Christian Katula. Drew Washi, high distinction. Bianet Cepeda Diaz, distinction. Said Hussein. Danya Abu Amo. Oliver Isaac Eknes. Mohammed Shahata. Grant Michael Ship, high distinction. Yoon Jae Yoon. Inez Gloria Peterson, distinction. James Anderson.
Congrats.
Fantasia Moore. Alex Lee. Joseph Daniel Hayek, distinction. Corinne Olson, high distinction. Heather Erin McMasters, high distinction. Nicole Elizabeth Vella, magna cum laude, distinction. Ben Richard Wessler. Samuel Alejandro Rossi. Rachel Lynn Boleg. Julia May Jarvie. Rose Chennai Grimstead, high distinction. Aparna Shoni. Annabella Ledesma. Sarah Rose Zimmerman. Sailor Hibbs. Madeline George. Molly Rose Schottenbauer. Autumn Ray Vicker. Kayla Park. Varsana McRoberts. Maya Grozer, distinction. Angelina Lachman Udeshwar. Peyton Story Tessman. Evan Villas. Maggie Odumuiwa. Kaya Phillips. Marco Ivan Devchich. Bridget Marie Sullivan. Yasmin Burhan Ahmed. Brendan James Loeys. Amanda Tran, high distinction. Cora Christine Smith. Max Fru Oki Mofar. Caitlin Xiang. Livy Shreve. Ryan Smith. Hannah Jean Constable, high distinction. Gabriella Campana, summa cum laude, distinction. Mackenzie Rael Bingle. Tanya Julia Barsky. Stephen Wen. Allison Siriutai. Ada Wong. Bo Yu Wen. Rosalind Ding. Catherine Michelle Stock. James Joseph Island, distinction. Benjamin Harrison Mayer Pickering, distinction. Sam Mary Worthington. Aisha Arab Kilas. Zora Salad. Aurora Quinn, distinction. Grace K. Ragira. Wendy Gatwa. Kennedy Michelle Allard. Hun Tin Lei. Julie Naomi Sheehan, magna cum laude, distinction. Arundhati Manoj Nambiath, high distinction. Mackenzie Greer Torbert. Alexander T. Thomas Jose. Alexander T. Zolnowski. Thomas Jose Silver, summa cum laude, high distinction. Nicholas John Sanders, distinction. Hannah Cassidy Rademacher. Hannah Catherine Jarash. Pooja Yochana Singh. Matt Whitlock. Isabel Jean Primo. Annika A. Attia, distinction. Riley P. Rosenfeld. Brooke Elizabeth Hartman. Caitlin Elise Vieker. Madison Marie Lance, summa cum laude, high distinction. Cody Ling Jun Wong. Nick Michael. William Londa Nass. Mitchell Dennis Pertel. Mimi Lauren Meadows, distinction. Audrey Lynn Link. Sadie Mary Grunau, distinction. Christopher Anthony Cravens. Blake Dylan Mortensen. Jonah Christian Lundberg.
Sometimes when they scan the card, it's so
Justin Wynn.
but either way, they'll either give her a card or they'll scan her.
Elena Marie Sickus.
Oh, probably, but she'll be fine. Or they'll be fine.
Fiona Curran, distinction.
No,
Kathleen Mary Bach.
it's a lot less than the first one.
Ari Valentine. Hannah Nicole Pink. Sadie Elise Cross, high distinction. Ernesto Cesar Bell, distinction. Ella Grace Benson. Lily K. Zaja. Lauren Audrey Keller, distinction. Lauren Marie Anderson. Annabella Lee Harris, distinction. Nicole Kindra Moorfield, distinction. Jessica Thomas. Victoria Lillian Morell. Alexis Cochran Starr. Kalia Vang. Sierra Marie Nedorowski.
Yeah, just put it high. Well, hold it up so you can see it. Yep. Okay. Yoshen Shui.
Corey Stolfa. Aliyah Mohamud Mohammed. Matthew Harry Kennedy. Ben August Graff. Ryan Thomas Burke. Maya Ellis. Sydney Marie Sartori. Irina Sawchek. Hannah Elizabeth Schwartzman. Jack Joseph Raymond Odette, high distinction. Julie Ann Kanan, high distinction. Camille Quinn Baker. Brandon Ken Heller. Martina Celine Gaima. Oresi Owache. Katrina Davis, distinction. Mia Corwin. Taylor Knickel, summa cum laude, high distinction. Sibia Nyamoita Medieri, distinction. Milena Habtom Yisak, distinction. Leah Gebramariam. Sabawat D. Berhanu. Emmanuel Mori Monrovia Tommy. Grace Marina Mentzos. Fatuma Mohammed. Aymar Montes. Riley Kate Durow. Helen Astrid Calderon. Alejandra Scarlett Garcia Rivera. Brenna Elizabeth Tipka, high distinction. Adam Charles Lee Berg. Ben Wagner. Timothy Line. Kaylee Madison Trisco. Hanifa Rahmaputri Rinaldi. Sienna Noreen Holmberg, distinction. Varun Ganapathy Iyer, distinction. Nisal Savinda Lianage. Stephen Alex Tallberg, distinction. Maisie Catherine Sweeney. Shifa Sayada. Jesse Raymond, summa cum laude, high distinction. Sophia Ayezi, high distinction. Laura Davies. Angela Mariana Garza, distinction. Lucky Win, distinction. Rehan Haider Aliman. Elsa Brulman, high distinction. Lauren Joan Mackey. Samuel David Germscheid. Alexanne D. Mansfield. Hannah Hansen, high distinction. Hannah Ruth Larson. Emma Nagel. Carly Faye Griffith. Rachel Ann Anderson. Jaden Victoria Ishens. Catherine Mee Gilman, distinction. Sarah Horner, high distinction. Michaela Morris. Gracie Rivera. Madison K. Morandi, distinction. Emma Kate Leishau, high distinction. Julia Park. Brandon M.V. Michelle Esther Rosas. Sabrina Salguero del Cid, distinction. Meriche Barajas Marti, distinction. Mia Sue Lopez. Nada Awil Muhammad. Caroline Ava Rue, distinction. Kaya Paulina Kobe, distinction. T. Howard. Kiera Jean Sweeney. Henry James Hagan, high distinction. Noah J. Mitchell, cum laude. Catherine Elizabeth Del Monte. Simon Jacob Avenson. William D. Ang. Sophie Wen Bonnick. Valerie Lee Wen. Distinction. Casey Elizabeth Bell Richard. High distinction. Sophia Rich. Ketchen Lee. High distinction. Lu Ching Wang. Aitan Viet Nguyen. Sonia Kanita Meyer. Sandra Mireya Leal Munoz. Amira Razman. Zaina Samar Kandwala. Isabel Lee Glendenin. High distinction. Hadil Rizak. Caitlin Marie Osell. Sarah Rose Wataziak. Mihaela Trayanov. Distinction. Jackie Gruenstein. High distinction. Elena C. Gerst. Aiden Hansen. Dylan Thomas Van Pufflin. Aurora Mary Hinsey. Serena Blue Hively. Faith Juliet Clark.
Sylvie Rainville.
Zoe Barris Hornbeak. Distinction. Sophia Louise Poole. Rachel Lauren Erb. Distinction. Hannah Roth. Megan Carter McGill. Piper Hope Condis. High distinction. Ashley Berg. Mira Shrivastava Deer. Angelina Mazzacco. Erin Elizabeth Peterson. Sophie Caitlin Dobos. Alexandra Jane Dixie. High distinction. Lillian Rose Archibald. Oscar Emmanuel Soriano. Jordan Edward Fredrickson. Taylor Renee Powell, high distinction. Chloe Kerr. Abigail Elizabeth West, summa cum laude, high distinction. Irene J. Bensus. Hannah Rose Badgerow. Cleara Nora McIntyre. Olivia Marie Patterson. Ethan Christopher Lien, distinction.
Melanie Rodriguez Mejia.
Michaela Jo Albertson. Selena Shao. Mary Bosnick. Zainab Sena Sariolan, high distinction. Annabelle Louise Nordmeyer. Gracie McCullough Blackburn. Alexander J. Fuller. Rachel Elizabeth Mansky. Caitlin Shea Gardner. Adam Nontapat Guntangwatana. Megan Deborah Zenke. Connor John Charles Prock, high distinction. Andrew McCardle, high distinction. Alexis Luna Martinez. Chloe Staudenmeyer. Savannah Jo Dolezal. Miley Marie Howard, distinction. Marianne Macinda. Daniel Ross Casper. Nadira Faisal Gelly. Precious Vu. Mustafa A. Awais. Issei A. Mohammed. Isabella Maria Fanucci. Rory Elizabeth Kent. Savannah Jameson Kohler. Isabella Linder, summa cum laude. Colin Hannan. Tiandra Janae Ray. Diana Herrera Ortega. Benjamin Yenwing Chan, high distinction.
Your name didn't get called? Okay. Talk to the women there in the room.
Carl Frederick Dressler, distinction. Joshua Habison, summa cum laude, distinction. Emma Bedard. Livia P. Mitchell, distinction. Nitya Ashri Venkata Subramaniam. Ava Leno. Nicole Brooke Balcom. Lucas Lee Greenwald. Rhiannon Virginia Tice. Caitlin Elizabeth Cohen. Coco Larson, high distinction.
I will be back there by the time.
Gemma Emmanuel Gardner, high distinction. Samantha May McGurgan, distinction. Sarah Josephine Nimchek, distinction. Parker Jelen, distinction. Caroline Grace Lee. Ethan Hitz. Carissa Pond, high distinction. Lauren Daniel Augusto. Nolan Joseph Arnold. Brianna Ray King, distinction. Haley Nicole Hansen, high distinction. Alessa R. Levi. Alexis Nicole Hansen. Ilhan Aiden. Samia Ahmed Sheikh Omar. Mushtaq Abdikafi Mohammed. Durartu Elemo. Marian Mohamud Mohammed, distinction. Lizzie Druvenga. Emera Eve Collins, high distinction. Lauren Komblevitz. Elijah Francis Awada, high distinction. Kayla J. Haynes, distinction. Sean Belcher. Rogan Alexander Isbell, distinction. Brandon Wetterlin. Lemuel Samuel, high distinction. Joshua Chikala. Christina Minich. Kaylee Ann Bauman. Serafina Julie Ganther. Tessa Judith Bullock. Natalie Therese Trimble. Grace McLear, distinction. Yan Chen. Bianca Loa. Daniel Chen. Ling Jing Liu. Xin Lin. Laura M. Coolish, distinction. Nicole Lee Hinkemeyer. Ann Taylor Lougheed. Jennifer Chow, summa cum laude, high distinction. Shalom C. Onyeka, distinction. Rachel Lenz. Brooke Dahman, high distinction. Kevin Pfister. Jack Anthony Vergine, distinction. Kyle Gunderson, distinction. Andrew Justin Mercado. Jana K. Hager. Allie Hansen. Jaylee Sierra Beckstrand. Eleanor Kathleen Snee, summa cum laude, high distinction. Jolie Lacey, high distinction. Derek Douglas Brose. Matt Bong. Maxwell G. Tom. Casey Dykes. John James Fogarty. J.C. Marie Davis. Marguerite Elise Maloney, magna cum laude. Thea Grace Wangsness, distinction. Lydia C. Hester, distinction. Keith Gray Ingold, high distinction. Madison Clemens Shunk, summa cum laude, high distinction. Michael Andrew Gay. Lily Claire Flemington Hart, summa cum laude, high distinction. Paige Colleen Honeycutt. Jackson Thelonious Hicks. Jacob Adams. Lindsay Joy Tapper. Olivia May Zozel, high distinction. Riley C. Schaefer. Susan Elizabeth Kettner, high distinction. Chandra Baviera. Kate Lauren McKinney, summa cum laude, high distinction. Isis J. McClintock. Brooke Elizabeth Reardon, high distinction. Maddie Preppernaw, summa cum laude, high distinction.
That's fun.
Tasha Klatt, distinction. Rory James Lee McFarlane, distinction. Samuel Peter Kellen. Jose Roberto Navarro Vasquez. Samantha Lisa Mary Hoffman. Lonnie Vu. Elijah Corey Tram, high distinction. Kiana Elaine Burheit.
Alex Robinson.
Annie Elizabeth Kuiper. Sydney Corrine Erdl. Brock Edward Sharp. Yan Kun Guo. Jia Heng Yuan. Olivia Lara Bardeen. Madeline Louise Anderson. Amalia Teresa Metcalf, high distinction. Luisa M. Yela Jurado. Ava Marie Walters, distinction. Megan Ann Pangier, distinction. Kristen Irene Fouquet. Fanette Mohammed, high distinction. Sarah Isabel Lloyd. Cindy Udoka Opara Ononeze. Brandon Edward Pepper. Zachariah Abdallah. Kaylee Shibley. Cameron Jurek. Mackenzie A. Hemmer. Wyatt Schroeder. Anna Smith, distinction. Cameron Rose Bigar. Alandra K. Stoll, high distinction. Anthony Robert Taylor Gouget. Carmen Louisa Pettit. Abigail Gunderson. Sophia Brigand. Jane Mari Vasterling. Arthi Jagraj. Samantha Dottie. Distinction. Remy Quinn Buchholz. Sabrina Lee Davis. Benjamin Allen Markham. George Manyange. Tamarin Lane Wiggins. Carly DeLise Allison. Palwasha Khan, high distinction. Monica Reddy Kari, distinction. Madeline Quinn Toddiwald, distinction. Malia Wagner. Amy Marie Ramanauskas. Laung Phi Win. Erith Josue Coronado, distinction. Catherine McCarthy Anderson. Hannah Grace Pearl. Gavin Wade Olson. Victoria Ann Kulak, distinction. Kaylee A. Munger, high distinction. Maureen Nchagwa Wambura. Mulki Nu Omar, high distinction. Salma Abdurrashid Osman. Xin Yi Zhai, high distinction. Yu Qi Tian, distinction. Yu Ru Liu, high distinction. Jude Bitney. James Ryan Lingle. Caroline Jean Soltis, high distinction. Jia Rei Liu. Jia Ru Chen, distinction. Wai Kit Chan. De Yang Shu. Olivia Claire Jackson. Mason Wiley. Paige Marie Martin. Riley Lane Gardner, high distinction. Sandy Bolton Barrientos. Amber Ray Atkinson. Mariam Al-Araji. Ikram Mohammed Moody, distinction.
Zainab Al-Abedi.
Farhiya Abdullahi. Damiana Amor Karger. Fatuma H. Mohammed. Fardosa Yusuf. Jamila Bihi. Jessica Dolly Shavy. Nasra Shuhaib Ibrahim. Shukri Mohammed Madobe. Chinwenwa Ruth Aniamele. Michael Timothy Eberly. Shu Yang Liu. Hafsa Hebi Adani. Kothar A. Abshir, distinction. Ishwak Ahmed Mohammed. Famo Kite. Hamdi Ise. Mona A. Hussein. Ipsi Tu Abi Bakr. Ifra Qasim Haji. Genesis Maravilla Fernandez.
Emmanuel Yarason.
Mana Isa. Furkan Adao, distinction.
Thank you.
Abdul Malik Ahmed. Catherine Mary Muller, high distinction. Olivia Ray Hester. Kaylee White. Mikoai McGill Stahovich, distinction.
Last but not least, Goldie Gopher.
it is my pleasure to ask Regent James Farnsworth to formally confer the degrees. Regent Farnsworth, I am honored to present to you the candidates who have completed requirements for College of Liberal Arts degrees.
Interim Dean Waltner, thank you for inviting me to be here today. On behalf of the University of Minnesota Board of Regents, I am honored to preside at this commencement. To the graduates, I extend congratulations. We are here to celebrate not only your academic accomplishments, but also your potential to make a positive difference in the next stages of your lives. You will be contributing to your communities, the state of Minnesota, the nation, and even the world. To your friends and families, thank you for your support of these students as they earned their academic degrees. And now here comes the official part. Will the graduates please rise as you are able? Upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority of the Board of Regents, I confer upon you the degrees for which you have qualified. Congratulations, and let us acknowledge your achievements.
Congratulations, graduates and families and friends. You have many reasons to be proud of the accomplishments you take with you into the communities of Minnesota, our nation, and the world. We will be proud to welcome you back on your next visit to the campus as alumni of the College of Liberal Arts, the University of Minnesota. So I invite you to move your tassel. If you haven't already moved your tassel, move your tassel from the right of your motorboard to the left. To declare to the world that you are now a graduate of the University of Minnesota. And in closing, let's join our vocalists from the School of Music once again in singing Hail Minnesota. Please stand for you're already standing. I was going to say, please stand for our alma mater and let the celebration begin.
Thank you.